All right, crew. Louis Vandervalk with Blue Crocus Solutions tuning in for another daily digital drop. I'm enjoying these. I hope you're enjoying them. If you're watching the replay, if you're watching this video, if you could drop indexing down in the comments, it'll help the algorithm, help more people see this. And if you're not subscribed on YouTube, please go subscribe. So we're going to get in today to indexing and how it's applicable to your website, how you can use Google Search Console and a couple other tools for doing that, and also a little update on Google. So Google reviews have been dropping off. It's been the news of the town. As an SEO agency, I have been being absolutely lit up in the DMs, Facebook, especially Facebook groups, but YouTube has been really, really crazy as far as the comments go. So I think we've got like 100 comments on one video now from people all over the world, and it's crazy. Some people have lost up to 1,000 reviews. That's the new high that I've seen. So what's happened? I mentioned yesterday, we went through the notes. You can see it here in the notes if you go back and just grab the notes here. But basically, Google has said they are aware of the issue. They are working on it. Whoops, that is the wrong one. Did I? Yeah, that one here. I clicked the wrong link. So they do know it's an issue and they are working on it. They're going to get it sorted out. And we've started to see some people say that their reviews are coming back today, which is absolutely awesome. You guys all work and you should keep working and you should keep absolutely making an effort to continue getting more reviews because that's the lifeblood of your company. Every job you do, you should be doing a 5-star service and getting a review, whether it's a video, Google, Facebook, Yelp, written postcard review that you can post on your website or social media. Keep those reviews coming in regardless of what is happening out in the world. And the biggest tip I'll say is make sure you get people to leave a picture with the review. That is going to help it stick tremendously. Now, let's get into today. I feel like you guys didn't come here just to hear me talk about Google. We've been talking about it a lot the last 2 days. So indexing, we're going to talk about indexing here, and we're also going to, kind of look at what it is and then how you can do it. So I've got a page that I'm actually going to run through how to index it in Search Console, and then I'm going to show you some stuff around backlinking too that you can do. So what is indexing? So I actually described it today. Like if you throw a page up on the internet, it's not going to be indexed until Google comes around and crawls your website, and they do that on a varying basis. They need to conserve their robot usage. It costs money to have their robots go through and crawl the internet. So they're doing that as efficiently as possible. And what they're going to do is they're going to kind of pay attention to your site over time and see how often you update stuff, and then they'll come back based on what they see is the most common updated time that you're, whether it's every 2 months or every week or whatever, that's when they'll kind of do it. So if you haven't updated your site in a while and you throw up a new page and you don't index it, chances are Google may not come around for a long time to index it. And so that's not going to show up in the search results. You're not going to get any traffic to it. You're not going to get anything, coming out of that. So indexing is basically you're going to throw up the page and hope that Google's going to find it. It's just like throwing a book. You're going to take your new book that you've written, you're going to throw it down the aisle in the library and hope that someone's going to find it. Well, if someone goes to ask the librarian, hey, do you have this book on this topic that you wrote about? They're not going to have it in their system until they go pick that book up from the library, aisle floor. They punch it into the computer, and now they have it in their filing system, in their index. That's the same with Google. You need to make sure that your pages are in the index. So here is, I'm actually going to refresh this because I updated the notes a little bit before we get going. There's actually a trick to tell if your page is indexed. So I'm just going over to our blog here. We've got a new episode from Marketing Without Rules. If you haven't checked it out, it's really turning into a fun podcast. Started up a new podcast in December, having some awesome guests on. But the point of this is just got a blog post put up from the episode and how you can tell if a page is indexed. You can do this on any page on your website. You can do this on your competitors' pages. You can do this on any page on the internet. You just type in site : in front of the URL. Now I mentioned that here. So site and your URL here. So we're going to do that site : and then you just hit enter. And it's going to say, hey, we're fishing. We can't find anything. Go to Search Console. Make sure that you own bluecrocus.ca, whatever that blog post is or whatever your website URL is. And then you're going to go into Search Console and it's telling you to basically go over to Search Console and set it up. Now, what is Search Console? Again, I have it here in the notes. You can go into here and you can set up Search Console if you haven't. I'll have to set up a separate video on that because it is kind of an in-depth topic, but this is Search Console. So in the back end of Google, they provide this software that allows you to go in and index your websites, get a lot of really interesting insights. I can see, over time what people are looking at. We're getting a lot of, traffic to our site just based off of the fact that we've got a blog on the Google reviews. This isn't even showing the traffic directly from links, so this is just people searching it recently. But we can see top queries over the last 3 months. And then we can, there's a ton you can do with it. You can go on to write content around this. But what we're coming here to do is pay attention to indexing. So you can go into this section here called indexing. And you can see we've got a bunch of pages indexed and we've got a bunch of pages that aren't indexed. Now we've got a bunch of resource pages on there. Some of them shouldn't be indexed. Some of them probably should. So you can go down here and you can look at, pages that aren't found. We're sorting some of that out. Pages that are excluded by a no index tag, which we don't want indexed, and so on and so forth. But if you have a specific page that you want to have indexed and you've got your website set up on Search Console, you can just copy this URL. So I'm just going to copy that, and then I'm going to go over to Search Console, and you can just inspect any URL in bluecrocus.ca. So we're just going to inspect it here, and I hit enter, and it's going to say URL is not on Google, and then you can request indexing. So here you can just hit request indexing. It's going to test if that URL can be indexed. We just put it up, so I'll have to make sure that the no index tag isn't marked on it. But if it's an indexable page, because you can mark pages that you don't want indexed, such as your terms and conditions, your privacy policy, stuff like that. But if it can be indexed, it's going to come back and tell me, hey, we've put it in a queue. Requesting every day isn't going to make a difference, but we've put it in a queue and we'll come around when we can and search and crawl it and put it in the index. Okay, so it's going to do that and come back to us. So again, if you put up new pages, if you put up a new website, you need to make sure that you have your website up on Search Console. Your web agency needs to do it if you're not, but you can get access to that if your web agency has done it. You can take ownership of that Search Console property, and then you can have that and you can take that forward. So it's saying indexing has been requested. It's in a priority crawl queue. Submitting a page multiple times won't make it more priority. So you say dismiss, and Google's going to come around and crawl it eventually. One of the ways that you can kind of make pages more indexable, so there's a lot of stuff we can do around indexing. If you can't get your pages indexed, maybe it's just not quality enough content, maybe there's not enough words on the page, maybe you're not interlinking enough on the website. All kinds of things like that can make it not indexable or not useful to Google to put in the index, but that is how you index. So that's Google Search Console. We're going to take a little, I was just telling someone before we jumped on here about a past life of mine. I did some blacksmithing here. Probably not what you expected to see coming on an indexing feed here. But yeah, did some blacksmithing. These are like some keychains that I did. Here's a little cross. This was my favorite, probably the most complex one that I did. But you can check out that. That was 2017, 2018. I set up a, you can go through the whole journey here. I think I built a forge and kind of showed that whole process here. Did a lot of different metalwork, some jewelry, some cool Rubik's twist stuff. Miss it. I'm gonna have to get back into it, get the kids back into it. But just thought that would be a fun Easter egg for you guys. So back to indexing. Make sure that you have Google Search Console set up for your website. Now, I mentioned as well in the notes, and you're going to see this here, if you're building backlinks, if you're building directory listings, I was just telling someone about this today, and I said, hey, this is something I need to talk about on the daily digital drop. If you're building backlinks or directories, you can build as many as you want, but again, you're just throwing that book down the aisle in the library, and they're not necessarily going to be indexed unless Google crawls it, and they aren't necessarily going to do that, right? So you can actually force an index outside of Search Console. So Search Console is for a property that you own, you can verify your website typically. And then there's a couple tools here that you can use. We use Index Me Now a lot for when we're building backlinks for our clients. So if we set up a Chamber of Commerce link for a client, we're going to go and index that specific page that links back to our client's website. If we're setting up directory listings, we're going to do that. And we're running all of our clients through this so that the work that we're putting into backlinking actually comes back and benefits the client. Because again, you can throw a ton of backlinks, you can throw a ton of directories, you can go pay for them. you can have your team build it, whatever the case may be. But if they're not indexed, they're not going to show up on Google, and they're not going to be worth anything to you. So make sure your backlinks are getting indexed. Index Me Now is $1 a link. Not too crazy probably for you. It does get costly at scale for an agency, but the reason we still use it is it is the most effective one we found. The other one here, that if you're doing like a huge bash of citations or whatnot, Omega Indexer might be something to look at. It is a lot less costly, but we found the results are usually 25 to 30% less effective in picking up and actually indexing the link. So basically what it's going to do, if this, drop questions if you've got them. Again, if you could drop indexing in the comments, that would be super helpful as far as the algorithm to help more people see this. But if you've got questions, drop them as well. What is indexing? We can go into that in another daily digital drop. That's the beauty of this, is I'm trying to have an ongoing forum to answer questions. But if you don't have your links indexed, they're not going to work. If you don't know what indexing is, or how it all comes together, or what backlinks are, I'm actually doing a webinar tomorrow on backlinking. But drop your questions below. There's some tools. You guys can go use them, and you can rock it out. So we're gonna rock it out there. I was gonna read the YouTube comments. This has gone a little bit longer than I expected, so we'll probably not do that, and I'll take that out of the notes. But guys, appreciate everyone who's tuning in. This is a fun challenge for me to be able to transfer some of the knowledge. I talk about this stuff all the time on calls, but it's in a one-to-one forum. So I wanted this to be something that I can keep notes of. I can go back and refer to it. It'll be a cool time capsule as my knowledge increases over the course of the year. And I hope you guys enjoy the process. I will see you guys next time. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. We've got a goal of growing that quite massively this year, and every subscription counts. Talk soon.